has resigned after growing pressure from party members following the sex trafficking indictment against a Republican strategist and major donor. Carnahan announced her decision last night during a closed-door meeting at the GOP headquarters in Edina. She will receive a 3-month severance worth roughly $38,000. She was under fire for her personal ties with Anthony Lazzaro, who is facing 10 federal sex trafficking charges. Carnahan and Lazzaro hosted a podcast together and were often seen together socially, prompting many within the party to call for her removal. Carnahan denies having any knowledge of Lazzaro's alleged criminal activity. The West Fargo School District is warning parents that they should have a backup plan for the start of the school year next week in case buses don't show up to pick up their kids. There could be a problem with the bus drivers showing up. School officials say they've been told that a group of transportation staff indicated they may not show up for their assigned shifts because of pay issues. A staff salaries list shows first-time bus drivers for the school year would be making $15.65 per hour, with pay increasing with experience. Administrators notified parents that they are working to ensure all students can get to school, and they say they will keep families up to date on any disruptions. The board and administration have been working with the transportation department over the summer to understand concerns and find common ground. Now, the school district already had a critical shortage of bus drivers, and they say if some don't show up to work, it could cause significant delays or even canceled routes. And it's not just West Fargo who is struggling. The director at Valley Bus in Fargo says they're also tight on drivers, but they can make it work for the start of the school year. Moorhead is also looking for 3 more drivers, and in the Northern Valley, a similar situation. Dietrich Bus Service in Grand Forks has 21 drivers, but 35 routes, and that's forcing them to combine some routes. In East Grand Forks, they need 1 to 2 more drivers, but say they will hire as many as they can. Some companies are offering incentives like help with daycare expenses and even paying people to get their commercial driver's license. It is a first alert weather day, a big day as we are tracking that rain as it pushes in. And Lisa, you're going to be busy for quite some time.
Busy, but glad to be, because it does mean that we finally get some rain in the middle of this drought. We need as much as possible, and hopefully it doesn't fall all at once, because that's a problem too, even in a drought. We have some heavy rain on the way and severe weather too. So for this first alert weather day, we're looking at the potential for some of these storms to get a little bit rowdy here into the afternoon hours. Here's a look at our live view on our Dakota Magic Casino Skycam. I've been watching this for the last several minutes because we've got approaching storms. You can see it's still lit pretty well because we have sun to the east, but looking to the south, the rain's starting to come down. It's obscuring our view right now. The wind's going to pick up. I've seen some flashes of lightning on here as well. And here's a look at that on our radar and satellite map. This is right where our Skycam happens to be, and we're looking at those cells moving right in at the moment. So a cluster of rain moving up I-29, heading toward Fargo-Moorhead over the next hour or so. And then there are other areas where we're seeing some spotty cells popping up in southeastern North Dakota. And then, of course, the main band of rain we've been tracking all morning long. This one kind of breaking up a little bit, but still producing a couple of downpours all the way up to the Canadian border, and some thunderstorms going on in some of these cells that have been developing here. So watch out in eastern North Dakota. We've got some rain coming your way. It will have some impacts on some of our morning commutes. And one thing to remember here is it's been a while since we've had some rain. So that first rain can often lead to some very slick roads with the buildup of oil. And then once we start getting rain on that, it creates some slick conditions. So careful on that morning drive. That rain and thunder just continues to lift northward from south to north, essentially, as the system overall kind of migrates eastward a little bit here today. So if you're in Minnesota, it's going to be a while, especially in our eastern counties, until you see that chance for rain and thunder. And in fact, you're probably going to have some of the warmest temperatures today. Right now we're in the 70s ahead of the front, and then behind it, much cooler. Grand Forks is at 61. Fargo, in contrast, at 75 degrees, still warm and muggy ahead of the front. And then in Langdon, we're at 59 right now. And checking out your afternoon planner, some of us don't see our temperature change much at all with the conditions we'll have moving in. Notice we'll be warmer to the east. That's again where the potential for the energy is there, for the potential for some severe weather. And so we've got that slight risk. It includes Fargo, Moorhead, places to the east, places to the south, essentially in that greatest risk for severe. But even our surrounding areas in deeper green here, which includes most of the Red River Valley, under a lower end risk, but still a risk for some severe storms with all hazards possible: hail, damaging wind gusts, and even an isolated tornado. and potentially some heavy rainfall. Look at our rainfall potential in addition to what we've seen up by Devil's Lake. I think we'll see some of the heaviest rain with this system, and then in some of those heavier thunderstorms, we're talking maybe an inch or so in some places that get multiple storms. Ahead for the weekend, we'll move this area of shower activity out of here after we have that severe weather later on this afternoon and evening, and it'll be quieter Saturday in the 70s. Sunday, more strong storms possible in the afternoon and evening that we'll have to watch for. So be weather aware today. We'll be right here to keep you posted. You can always check your Valley News Live weather app for the latest radar. Okay, thank you, Lisa. The quadruple murder case out in Mandan is now in the hands of a jury. Chad Isaac is charged with killing 4 people in 2019 at RJR Maintenance and Management. In closing arguments yesterday, prosecutors told jurors that evidence in the case can only point to Isaac. But defense attorneys say law enforcement rushed their investigation. Jury deliberations resume this morning. Autopsy results will determine whether a Fargo long-term care worker will face more serious charges after the death of a resident this summer. Rachel Cooper is accused of assaulting a 78-year-old man at Mapleview Memory Care in South Fargo. Right now, she faces a charge of endangering a vulnerable adult. But the Cass County State's Attorney's Office will review the charges once the autopsy results are in. Some people are saying enough is enough when it comes to local school districts' COVID-19 mitigation strategies. The Community Alliance for Responsible Education is advocating local school districts listen to public health guidance and require masks in schools. West Fargo parent Dr. Chris Prabula says West Fargo's optional mask rule is not enough to keep students safe. He says distance learning does not work well, and the best way to keep students in school is to require masks.
And either way, you're going to have disappointed or angry people on both sides. But only one of those sides, being disappointed and angry, leads to more kids being sick, more adults being sick, and for maybe having to go back to virtual learning.
Dr. Prabula also says he hopes the West Fargo School Board adopts all of the Fargo-Cass public health recommendations. He's working on getting his proposals discussed at the next school board meeting. Students at NDSU are being welcomed back to campus this weekend as they get ready for another school year. Several universities here in the Valley start classes next week, and that means it's busy for the weekend and the week ahead as the universities welcome new students. The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod joins us live from NDSU this morning with more on what families can expect. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Lisa. I don't think we're going to be the busy ones moving in things, but of course, Allie and Scott here are going to be the ones helping out when kids are moving into their dorm rooms this weekend. Thank you for being here with me this morning. Starting with you, Allie, what kind of training have you guys had to go through to be able to help these kids move in? Are you guys ready?
I think we are really ready. We've gone through 10 days of different trainings. We've gone through a lot of staff bonding. We've gone through how to help people move in, how to have people feel safe in the community. We have a bunch of different new policies that we're putting into place, and we've learned them through and through, and we've learned them like back and forth, and I think we're really ready to get them done.
That's awesome. And of course, we've just got, as long with move-in week, there's also a welcome week where you guys will be welcoming these kids coming in and being welcome or being ready for moving into their dorm. I guess starting out, what kind of advice could you give them for these students that are moving in for the first time?
Don't stay in your room. Just go outside and enjoy yourself. There's a million things to be doing and a million people to be meeting, and you can kind of reinvent yourself going into college. So just go for it.
Perfect. So I know when it comes to just moving in, and some people do have that nervousness, like you just mentioned. What are some of those different things that they can do here on campus to get them out of that?
We have a bunch of different clubs on campus that can help. We have a giant involvement fair. During the first day on Monday, we have our college fairs, and you get to meet people from your college who have made it through Welcome Week multiple times, who have made it through their first year, and you get to really meet a bunch of different people, not only in your major, but in your hall and everybody else on campus.
Perfect. And of course, while the kids are getting themselves ready, with the few seconds we have left, how excited are you to have the kids back on campus?
Oh, extremely excited. Yes, definitely. I cannot wait for college life to just reinvigorate.
We just lost Brian's connection there, but I want to say I love the advice of don't stay in your room. Go reinvent yourself. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. The average household has 6 of these. The answer? Refrigerator magnets. Remember, the Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on. Of course, meteorologist Lisa Green is tracking that rain and the stormy weather, so tune in for more right now on the Fargo CW.